Okay, 8th graders. This is lesson 9-7, solving systems algebraically. This is just a disclaimer. This is the hardest lesson in the whole book. If you can do this, you can do anything. If you don't understand this after we're done, that's okay. We're going to spend many days reviewing how to do this. So in my last lesson was 9-6, we solved systems by graphing. So you had a system, it maybe looks something like this. And you had another one that was like this. And you graphed them on a graph. And where they met, the ordered pair was the answer. So now there's another way how to solve these, and it's called by using substitution. So you can solve them algebraically instead of actually graphing them. So I'm going to teach you another way how to find that ordered pair instead of graphing them. So the first vocabulary word I have is substitution. And substitution, we all know, is when something takes the place of something else. So the definition is to replace with what you know. So like if you think of me, like if I'm gone today, I get a substitute. I get somebody to take my spot. So we're going to be doing a lot of substituting today in our lesson. All right, so the first thing I'm going to show you is starting with some easy things. I'm going to solve this system by substitution. So if you look at this system right here, I have my first equation and my second equation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my top one and I'm going to look at my bottom one. It says y equals x plus 5. And then on the bottom, I have y equals 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one and I'm going to put it in for this up here. So if I say y equals 3, I know that the one in my top, y equals the same number. So if I take 3 and I put it in for my top, this is what it looks like. Okay, so now I'm going to start to solve. Minus 5, minus 5. I have negative 2 equals x. So now I have my ordered pair. I have my y and I have my x. So my ordered pair look like this. So since the ordered pair is xy, my x would be negative 2, and my y's, they already gave it to me, would be 3. So negative 2, 3 would be my ordered pair for this. This is one of the easier ones. Now I'll do another one for you so you can see how it looks. I have y equals 3x minus 4, and then the bottom one says y equals 2. So this is my system. This is one equation. This is the other. So I already know what my y is, so my answer is going to look like this. So my y is 2. But I'm going to take my 2 and I'm going to put it in for this now. So it's going to look like this. 2 equals 3x minus 4. I'm going to solve for my x then. So let's see. I'm going to add 4, just like solving two-step equations. Add 4. I get 6 equals 3x. Divide by 3, divide by 3. 2 equals x. So since this is here, this is going to go here. So my ordered pair for this would be 2, 2. So if I put 2 in for x, I'm going to get 2 out for both of my y's. Okay, I'll do one more and you can try it. Let's say I have y equals 3x plus 2. And this time I have x equals 1. So my answer is going to be in an ordered pair, x and y. I'm already given my x. Now instead of putting this in for y, I'm going to put in for x because it says x equals. So I'm going to put it up here. So I'm going to be y equals 3 parentheses 1 plus 2. I'm going to solve. It'll be 3 plus 2 equals y. So it's going to be y equals 5. So 5 would go in down here. So it doesn't matter. They might give you the x, they might give you the y, but you're going to substitute in for the other one. I'll give you one more. Let's say y equals 3. No. Let's see, y equals 4. Now you do this one by yourself. So your answer is going to be in an ordered pair. You're already given the y. Okay, now solve for the x by substituting in for the top. So hopefully it looked like this. Have to start solving like a normal two-step equation. You have 8 equals 2x, divide by 2, divide by 2. x is going to equal 4, so then your 4 is going to come right up there. Now, it's not always going to be the same number. We have 4, 4 before we had 2, 2. It's not always going to be like that. So these are the easier types of problems. Now let's get to some of the harder ones. But before we do that, I have a list of steps for you to follow. A lot of you like steps. And so I did this for you step people so you know what to do next. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pick one of the equations and you're going to change it into y equals mx plus b form. That's why we've been practicing this so much, is because it's going to come in handy now. And we're going to pick the easiest one. You can decide which you think is the easiest. Then you're going to take that and you're going to substitute it in for y in the other equation. I'm going to show you how this works. Then you're going to solve for x. That's your first answer. Then you're going to pick one of the equations and substitute your answer from step 3 in for x. And you're probably like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but it will make sense in a second, hopefully. So go ahead and get these written down. All right, so let's give it a whirl. So you're going to be given two equations, like a system again. And instead of graphing them, we're going to solve them algebraically. So here's my 1 and here's my 2. Now the first step said to put one of these into y equals mx plus b form. And the one I'm going to do is the top one because y is already by itself. So all I have to do is I have to just move that 3x over. So I'm going to change this one to y equals mx plus b form. And I'm going to do that by adding 3x. I'm going to add 3x. So it's really going to look like this. Y equals, then I'm going to just flip these things around. So it'd be 3x minus 13. Okay, so first step is done. I changed one of them to y equals mx plus b. Then, since I know my y's are going to be the same thing in both equations, so my y's in the top and my x's are going to be the same number. So I'm going to take this equation right here and see how it says y equals 3x minus 13? I know that if y equals this, I know it equals the same thing here. So I'm going to take this whole thing right here and I'm going to put it in for y down here. Now watch, this is what it's going to look like. Parentheses, and I'm going to put in my 3x minus 13, and in parentheses equals 11. Okay. And I'm going to start to solve for my x. I think this is probably step 3 maybe on there. Let me go back and check it out. Yep, step 3. So first, we're going to bring everything back that we talked about last chapter. I'm going to do some distributing here. So this is going to be 4x plus 15x, and then 5 times a negative 13 is going to be a negative, I believe, 65. And I'm just going to check that on my calculator just to make sure. If you need to use your calculator, fine. Yep, negative 65 equals 11. And I'm going to combine what I can combine. So this is 19x minus 65 equals 11. It's a two-step equation, plus 65, and I get 19x equals 76. Divide by 19, divide by 19. 76 divided by 19 is 4. So x equals 4. Now remember, my answer is going to be in an ordered pair. So I have my x. My x was 4. Okay, now I have to work to find my y. And it's very, very, very simple to do that. So if x is 4, I'm going to go back to my equation. I'm going to go back to the one that I used here. And I'm going to substitute. If x is 4, I'm going to put 4 in for my x in here because it's going to equal y. 4 minus 13. So I'm going to solve. So it'll be 12 minus 13 equals y. Y is going to equal negative 1. There. You just solved it algebraically. You didn't have to do any graphing. Took a few steps, but some people actually prefer to do it this way over graphing. So give it a chance. We'll do a few more, and we'll keep going here. Okay, so let's try this one. I have 3x plus 2y equals 30, and then I have x minus 2y equals negative 6. You can decide which one you want to put in y equals mx plus b form. Now, you got to remember, if you have slope and it's a fraction, you have to deal with that fraction inside, and you're going to have to multiply that by that fraction. So I'm probably going to switch. I'm probably going to switch this one into y equals mx plus b form. So I'm going to switch this one, the first one. And to do that, I'm going to minus x. So 1x. I'm going to minus 1x. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Then I have negative 2y equals, I'm going to switch these things around, negative 1x minus 6, divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. So I have y equals 1/2 x. If I have two negatives, that makes a positive. And then plus 3. Okay, so let's just let that sink in. That's how I changed my top equation to y equals mx plus b form. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in for up here. So this is what it's going to look like. It's going to be 3x plus 2 parentheses. This is where my comes in down here. My half x plus 3 equals 30. All right, I'm going to do my distributing. So 2 times half would be 1x. 2 times 3 would be plus 6. And I'm going to bring everything else down I did not use. Then I'm going to start to combine. Let's see, this is 4x plus 6 equals 30. Minus 6 minus 6. I have 4x equals 24. Divide by 4, divide by 4. X equals 6. So remember, I'm going to have an ordered pair as an answer, and x is 6. Now, I'm going to take that 6, I'm going to go back to my original problem, and I might just do this one. Okay, so now I'm going to solve for my y. So I'm going to take this 6, and I'm going to put it in here. So it'd be y equals 1/2 times 6 plus 3. Half of 6 is 3. 3 plus 3 is, so it'll be y equals 6, because 3 plus 3 is 6. And there's my ordered pair. Whew. All right, let's do another one. Let's do one more together. And if I look at these two, one's already in y equals mx plus b form for me. So sometimes, if you're lucky, one of them will always already be in y equals mx plus b form. So this one already is for me. So I can completely eliminate that first step. I don't have to change anything already, which is awesome. It's already changed for me. So I'm going to take this, since this equals y, since y equals negative 2x plus 4, I'm going to put it in for here, because we know that y's are equal to the same thing. So 4x plus 2 would be negative 2x plus 4 equals 8. So all I did was I took this guy right here and I replaced it with y. Y replaced that negative 2x plus 4. All right, so this time this would be negative 4x plus 8 equals 8, 4x. So I have 0x plus 8 equals 8, minus 8 minus 8. I'm pretty sure x is going to be 0. Is the way it looks to me. I'm going to make sure that's right. I don't know where I got this one. Ooh, I see. Remember when we had infinite solutions, we had that as a possibility in one of our solving equations. Remember when we solved from both sides and we had that as a possibility? That's actually a possibility here, because if you look, I have my x's go away. I have 8 equals 8. This is an infinite set, infinite system. So that means if I would graph it, remember we talked about when we graph it'd be one line. So this is a time where it'd be an infinite set. So when you put it in and you start solving, you see, oh, I lose all my x's, they cancel out. What's going on here? It's an infinite set. Now sometimes you can also have this again, no solution. And you can have no solution when you lose all your x's and you have two different numbers equaling. And we're going to keep practicing. So don't think that, oh, I didn't get this, I'm not quite sure what she's doing. We're going to continue to go over it and over and over it again. So I'm just happy that you watched the whole thing and you have at least some exposure to it before we go over it in class. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in class again.